what are your, for this year, what are your goals as ASHE president?
Well, I think when I was on the campaign platform, I said three things. That one thing is to change, adapt the change.
Adapt to
Is
change.
to, you know, ASHE has a vision. I have a vision. We have to live the vision. We cannot just say that's what I'm going to do it and stop it. And that is three things is part of the change is the communication, collaboration, and education. I am focusing on education more to the facility directors because one of the things, Peter, the difference between me and I'm looking at some of the people came from the ranking. I have no fear going to the administration and talking to the administration, explaining what I need. I don't see that from the people coming from the rank. And you have a good illustration in one of your presentation of all kind of facility directors they come up in thing. We need to educate them ranking, and the new generation is moving in. The old generation is kind of in the next 5 years moving out. Yeah. I think we need to educate the new generation, the new entry people, not to follow the old generation's habit. We need to teach them the new way of doing things because one of the things is, we are doing all the right things, but we are not in pace with the technology. We are behind because we are good people. We don't like to complain. If something goes wrong, we're trying to piecemeal and put it back to work. Yeah, it's a difference between the new generation. All the IT guys are new generation because they have no IT, the old generation. I mean, they scream, okay, if you don't fix the computer, it's going to crash. Right. This software has to be updated by midnight. Otherwise, your computer will not work. So you get the new software, you get your new computer. We don't say that in our facility world. If the boiler is not working, somehow you get the boiler going. Right. We don't go up to the administration and explain, and we don't make noise. This is what we needed. So we need to coach them how to plan the future. We need to teach them, this is the way it's going to be, and we need to give that early notice to the administration.
So that's very interesting, Skanda, because, as you say, sometimes a facility person can be their own worst enemy because they band-aid things along, they keep it going, they keep it fixed, and then one day it fails. And then it's like, well, why did you let it fail?
Yeah, I think it's a nature, most of the older generation, I hate to say older generation, but experienced people, they're good people. They are very, very, what do you call it, faithful in maintaining things. So they don't want to complain if something went wrong. Okay, let me see whether I can weld it and put it back.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah, and they do it. But when you see that not happening in other departments, so we are not moving in the same speed. Okay, for an example, something came to my mind. I was sitting with a CFO in one particular hospital, and there was in between buying a CAT scan or buying a chiller for the CAT scan area where I had to put. And he said, well, this CAT scan is not giving good images, so the doctors need it. Can I get this on the budget and we'll buy you a chiller next year? I was a nice guy. I said, okay, and we bought the CAT scan. Next year came, the next year came, and the next year came, and I'm sitting with the same CFO. They are going to buy another CAT scan after 4 years because this is outdated now. 64 slides or something now. They want 128 slides. So we need to get it. So I said, Mr. CFO, you told me 4 years ago, and I'm still sitting, but you're buying the second CAT scan now. I don't have the chiller right. Well, he smiled and I smiled and I said, okay, when the day comes, when this crashes, then we have an emergency fund. Within 6 months, that's exactly what happened. And the CAT can was down for 1 week, and we got this chiller put together. I mean, Peter, is this their fault? No. Our financial system is that we always give priority for return on investment much. So they are they're doing their job, and we need to do a better job putting together. In a CommonSpirit Health, I think finally we have realized, and we have hired more people who are working on this, because sometimes it is difficult for a facility director at the hospital to do all this.
Yeah.
So there is somebody else who can plan this out for us. It works out very well. So that you have a plan put for the next 5 years, what we need, or next 10 years, what we need.
This is Peter Martin. If you or your organization is interested in advertising or partnering with the Healthcare Facilities Network, including sponsoring content, then please email me using the barcode in the lower right of your screen. From the trades level to the vice president level, from planning, design, construction, project management, compliance, safety, and security, the Healthcare Facilities Network reaches FM people where FM people
Based
are.
on, because now we have the technology which can tell us based on what we input, okay, this machine will not last more than this year. You know, they have better information than those days.
Yep.
So
goal 1, adapt to change for the year, for your presidency. Is that the first goal?
And the second one is to align codes and regulations, and ASHE is doing a great job. We have done so many advocacy efforts of talking to the code officials and reducing fire doors, exit signs, and things like that. We have a whole list. And I want to step in with the ASHE team, travel with them. So here, ASHE President, who has also with the background of my CommonSpirit Health with many hospitals that we manage, we have some data that we can show it to them, little more morale and also support to them. We are going to accelerate that program, bringing in some supports. The third one is elevating our profession. I think we are working with ASHE how to educate, how to speak the language of the CFOs, CEOs, and we are getting better. And I am confident we can just keep moving in the right direction.
Yep. I'm going to put a plug in for an episode that we did, and I'll link to it at the end of yours. I had a conversation with Robert Hacker, who's a director of FM out in California. It was Robert and his CFO on the same Zoom call. And it was just about what you just said.
I know Robert. He's one of the smartest guy.
Yeah,
I think I let him hear this. Say that, Robert, you are one of the smartest guy. He's a good friend.
He's a great guy, and we would talk about that, and he would talk about kind of that relationship. And I said, well, why don't see if you can get the CFO on the show? Let's have you and your CFO and kind of talk about that relationship. And I think one of the keys, and I'd be interested to hear your opinion, is, the CFO, Robert's CFO, was very willing to hear Robert talk. And it didn't always mean that he was going to get what he wanted, but he was at least open to that conversation. I think part of the problem these days is CFOs can be torn in so many different, getting their time, getting their attention, getting them into a meeting. I remember when I was working in healthcare, you couldn't even get them into a meeting, never mind talk to them. How do you find that to be an issue? The attention of the CFO, their time, their willingness to listen?
Yeah, I think this is happening everywhere, Peter. The personal level.
Yeah.
In my capacity, I had made friendship with everyone that I can walk into the office, or if I say that I'm outside, they will take the time to talk to me. But I don't think everybody in the facility level has that luxury. Or the CFOs are always under pressure by the CEO because they are looking at the numbers every day. I mean, they are looking at the patient revenue every day, not every month, every week, every day.
Right.
So there are more changes if it's not going the right direction. But you can always find ways to talk to them. I am in my ASHE speech, I said that American College of Healthcare Executives, I am partnering with them. I'm a member in Nebraska. I do attend their meetings. I do, in fact, I'm going for a dinner on the 18th of this month in Nebraska. Sometimes I get a chance to meet the CFO CEOs in those meetings, and especially they are loosen up. And again, I told you the same scenario, they are much different when they are outside the hospital. I can talk to them freely, and I make relationship with them in those meetings. And then once you have the relationship, easy to get along with them. And the CFOs is again, the return of investment is what they are concentrating.
Yeah.
And they can easily calculate the return on investment on MRI and CAT scan, but when it comes to the boilers, putting a new burner, and it's about $6,000, and the controls, it can save a lot of gas, but our guys need to know how to put that RFI and show it to them. It's again, Peter, it's communication and how you put across the case to them.
So you're a you're an electrical engineer. Obviously, I'm assuming you're an engineering type mindset. But everything you've talked about, you've also put in. You've talked about relationships, communications, big picture, Skanda, relative to your career. Which skill? And I know you can't divorce skill sets because you have them, so it's not like it. But it sounds like that your soft skill package is almost as critical to your success as kind of that mechanical mind, that electrical engineering mind that you have, that without that relationship part of it, it would have been difficult to achieve what you've achieved. Is that fair?
Yeah, because, education is a massage of your brain.
Yeah.
Basically, electrical engineering, I learned,
Yeah.
to keep the country lit. If your power station goes down, you are totally black. There are times I was in charge of a power station, it was a total blackout. Same thing comes to a hospital. When the hospital electrical system, I think when the Joint Commission comes, they look into the automatic transfer switch, generate a monthly run and all those things, because that is very critical for the hospital operation. The Joint Commission, one of the things that, I see the Joint Commission when on the beginning of my career in the healthcare is everybody, the facility guys do things for Joint Commission. It took me a while to change their attitude. Guys, you are not doing this for Joint Commission. You are doing this to keep your patients safe. Joint Commission is just there to make sure you are doing the right thing. So you don't need to worry. You don't need to prepare for Joint Commission. Just do the right thing. And I taught them again and again. Now, many of my hospitals, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care when Joint Commission comes because they are doing the right thing. So my background on electrical engineering is, yes, we do certain things to keep the power engines running so we never have a failure. So that same discipline applies to the hospital. But the difference in the hospital is you can never find somebody who knows everything to run a hospital. Either you are good in electrical, or you are good in plumbing, or good in HVAC. To find somebody who can manage all of this is where we are finding it difficult.
Yeah.
And it's when you have a big hospital, University Medical Center, where you have like 28 people, 2 managers, a director, easy to run. When it comes to the middle class hospital, I think you have that illustration really good on your presentation. Very well done. When it comes to the middle class hospital, 1 director and then 8 to 10 people, different way of managing. Then you come lower, 1 manager and 4 people. Then you go down 3 or 2 people. So it has a different skills.
It's interesting. Actually, I just put it out today, which would be January 8th, and this will be following it. I did a Career Ladders episode 3 And I took, I worry about the community hospitals, the critical, those smaller hospitals that, and listen, you manage them, so you know what the pains are, but those
Yeah.
rural hospitals that are out in the middle of nowhere. And I figured, well, you know what, I'm going to do career ladders and what I did is I looked at critical access hospitals,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to see in our resume base. And again, I never put names on anything, but who was in the critical access hospitals and what were their different, how did they get there? Because they don't follow that traditional path. So I think, as you talked about seeing different resumes, I think HR also needs to look at kind of possibility, like who are our potential directors at these critical access hospitals, which are so important, and they don't always follow that traditional route that you would expect. Some of them come out of heavy equipment operator, but they're a
Yeah.
heavy equipment operator and then they transitioned in. So you got to be open to some of those non-traditional paths. And
You're right. Critical access is a totally a different animal when it comes to management. I have critical access hospital. The facility manager take care of EVS,
yes,
environmental services. They take care of security. If there's somebody comes and making trouble in the emergency department, hey,
Yeah.
the facility guy is a security guard there. And so they do everything, if there's something that they need to be. For an example, if a doctor is flying into a critical access hospital in one of the rural area airport, hey, facility guy, go and pick up the doctor from the airport. Hey, he's the transportation for the doctor.
Yeah.
So they do wear multiple hats. So some of the things that you said, why can't they go to ASHE conference? Why can't they go to the local conference? Here's the problem. He has so many things lined up in his daily duty. And sometimes I feel the critical access hospital manager or director has more responsibilities than a bigger hospital director, because they have other people who can take care of their job
Exactly.
when they are
Yeah.
gone, but not critical access. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
So,
I want to be respectful of your time. And I know you had a couple of cancellations due to the snow day, but two more questions.
yeah,
if
I
you
think you are. I'm good to go for whenever you want. I mean, I don't want the audience to be listening and getting bored. That's one of the things, but
No, I don't.
go ahead. Yeah.
I appreciate your time. So you alluded to this. The New Year's note you wrote, and I saw it on LinkedIn, on the LinkedIn account.
Okay.
You wrote, in the midst of a rapidly changing healthcare delivery system, we must stay ahead of the curve. What are some ways to stay ahead of how can ASHE membership, facility directors, facilities people, how can they stay ahead of the curve?
I think I'll start with what's going on with what I know in the thing, Peter. The way healthcare delivery system has changed. I don't see very many people sitting in the waiting room, in the halls, in the hospital when you walk in. So the hospital administration is thinking of, okay, do we need all these administrative services? Can we convert into a different clinical operations? And every hospital is thinking about that. We, as facility engineers, should be on the table during the discussion. I'll tell one example. I overheard a hospital is trying to remove all these admission areas and some of the administrative areas and to make into a clinical so that the physician can see the clinical. And when I overheard this, I came back to my office and looked at the documents I have. Well, that is a business occupancy. We declared that as a business occupancy. Now, if you're going to convert to a clinical occupancy, there's a whole lot of things we have to do. We need to message that to the administration. We need to sit and talk together for moving forward. That's what I'm taking. We need to be ahead of the curve when they are making these arrangements. There are also a lot of ideas going on when the hospital spaces, we have too much of inventory right now because I don't know what happened. There's a shortage of nurses. I don't know whether you happen to see the Baker News, Peter. Right here, I see that I just printed it so that, I will remember that all in all, the US faces an estimated shortage of between 38,000 to 124,000 primary care and specialist physicians by 2034. I
Wow.
mean, I don't give literally believe what they say is. So we are going through a nursing shortage. Based on this, we are going to go through a primary care and specialist physician. 38,000 to 124,000 is a lot. So what's going to happen?
Right.
So we need to be, facility engineering should be aware of that. So if you have a larger hospital and a larger power plant serving this hospital in the future, if this is going to be cut down, we need to think about that. Instead of buying 1,200 ton chillers, can we buy 600 ton chillers so that we can step our cooling? So if there are some hospitals I have now, we have shut down some floors, but we don't have the capacity to cut down the cooling capacity because our system is not designed. So we are closing the dampers and closing certain things. Still, it's not energy efficient. So we need to be thinking. I don't think we will be still building hospitals to replace old hospitals. Whatever we are building, we need to be designing in such a way that if we have another episode, how we could compartmentalize, how we could bring the people in, bring the people out. We spend an enormous amount of money. And there are some stuff we bought. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Are we going to store it, pay money? Can that be used 4 years from now? We don't know that. So we need to be thinking about that in the future. And that's what I said. I mean, we don't want to sit and wait. And other thing comes because what we did the right thing. COVID surprised us, but we survived, we struggled. But we cannot go through this one more time. We had to be prepared. So I think we need to, I mean, there are a lot of meetings happening, clinical staff, physicians. I think we need to be on the table with them to understand what they're doing. And we need to be planning accordingly. And I'm talking about when we are planning, we need to bring in architects, engineers, all should be in these meetings.
How do you get a seat at the table if the organization won't give you a seat at the table?
You have to get educated. You should be recognized first. That's one of the things ASHE is promoting, CHFM, CHC, SASHE, ASHE. And you asked the question, Peter, how did I learn to speak like this or get to the front of the people? You have to knock the door. I don't wait for my CFO, CEO come to me. I go to them. I go to the CEO and I present myself. You know, if I ask for an appointment, either they can say yes or no. I'm taking 50-50 chance. When I meet with them, I can put my case in front, answer is yes or no. But most of the time, 90% of the time, I get the yes answer. Once they start developing trust in you, when you ask, they believe you, they give it to you. And you know, there are sometimes it comes a little overload when my directors ask something. Well, let's see, give it to Skanda, and if you say yes, then I'll approve it. So if they come to me and I have to say yes and they approve it, because why is that happening? Because I build the trust with them.
Yeah.
So you can't do it overnight. It's take time. And I don't expect somebody get the respect I have within a couple of years. It took me a long time to get where I am. So, but I am willing to teach them how to get there. That's one of my goals as ASHE President, and where I am in my CommonSpirit Health. My goal is to educate the people and whatever I can to bring them up in their life.
Do you feel stress in your role? In your roles?
Well, it's a loaded question. And, stress is not always bad, Peter. I do well under stress. I have made the right decision and the best decisions under stress. I do meet.
I was gonna say, what about you allows you to do that? What trait allows you to make those good decisions under stress?
Because it stimulates your brain. It brings out all the intelligence you have. It comes and gives you the wisdom to make the decision. And these are short time stress, but there are long time stress. One thing I do, exercise 1 hour a day. It doesn't matter whether it snows. I got up early because I want to be here in my office at 8 o'clock. I did my exercise.
Yep.
I don't stay in a hotel where there's no exercise place. So I make sure when I book the hotel. So that's definite. I don't do it on Saturday and Sunday. Unless, I leave it that I give a break for my body as well.
Yeah.
I do walk my dogs. On a good day, I have 2 golden retrievers. And sometimes if I have an issue, I live in a golf course. So, we wait till the 7 o'clock so all the golfers go. I sit them on a tee and I tell my problems to them. They listen.
Yeah.
And they don't talk back. And, when you tell your problems to them, your stress level go down.
Because you get it.
You got it out of you. And sometimes you cannot tell everything to your wife or your friends, because when you repeat that, stress goes up, because they might give something that is more negative. So the dogs absorbs it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. Okay, yeah. And the third thing is, I like wine. I take a glass of wine. So stress doesn't bother me, because one thing, most of the time, when you're watching a TV, I don't like many things I see on the TV, but I have no control. But I have a control over my control. I can shut the TV off or change the channel. So there are things that we cannot control.
Yeah.
You have to let it go. You have to let it go.
Yeah.
There's no point in worrying. That's one of the ways to get rid of stress.
Yeah.
And then see what you can control. I try to tell that to my guys, and it's very hard.
Yes. It is.
Yeah. And
it's funny you use those 3 words, let it go. I have an acquaintance of mine who was let go from a role, was in it for 28 years, and is having and it was unexpected, and is having a difficult time dealing with that. And I said that to that, and I know it's really easy to say, right? It is, but letting it go at a certain, that is such a key, right? Because it's got to, before you can move on, you got to let it go and get past that. And it's difficult sometimes for people to do that.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but in life, always you find a better opportunity.
Right. Right.
People get comfortable doing what they do for a long time, and then they sit there and dwell on it. But sometimes the change is good. And most of the people I have seen, they go to a better position and they are much happier. If you're not happy in your position and if stress is bothering you, you need to change.
Yeah. Very well said.
Time to change, yeah.
So what are some ways, as you're the ASHE president, you got a big year coming up. What are there ways that people can assist you in achieving these goals? How can people help? How can you've talked about how you think you can help people. How can people help you if they want to?
I think people and big companies and big organizations, including you, Peter, I think we want to have a collaboration. I believe, again, in collaboration, not competitive. If there's an organization, for an example, fire stopping companies, fire alarm companies, gas companies, if they can come and tell us what is the best way for us to maintain, replace equipment, I welcome them because I want them to be a partnership with ASHE. I know I tell this to everybody in the vendor world when I go to the chapters. When people come to the hospital, we give the best treatment we can. We fix you in the emergency department, and it comes with a price because in order for us to maintain this facility, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you all can help us to bring the cost down, I think the beneficiary is us again.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, I don't want to be in a facility when I need them.
Right.
And I will get a bill and the insurance will pay or whatever it is. But I think as a collaboration, the vendors should help us. And I always welcome them. If you see that I've taken examination, example, okay, there's a Joint Commission regulation is telling us this is a way to fix the wall. Teach us how to fix the wall. Give us a lesson. And in the trade show, or maybe give an abstract and give a class session in the ASHE conference, innovation conference, not anymore ASHE conference. Yeah.
Big name change.
Yeah, name change. And tell us how to do it, because if you can teach us how to do things cost effectively, we can. I mean, I'm not hoping the healthcare cost is going to go down, but definitely it's going to help us.
Yeah.
So I encourage collaboration. I'm one of the person, treat the vendors as partners. I don't think that they are here to make money with us because everybody has a job. And a person who is working on the vendor side, he has a job. He has to make money for living. That's what his job is. But as long as you are not thinking of only money and a competition, compete the other guy and get into the door, you are welcome to work with ASHE. And that's one of the things that I invite people to partnership with ASHE.
That's a great distinction you make there. Last thing, Skanda, what do you we've talked about cost and kind of like the employee shortage. From your perspective, what do you see as the 2 or 3 biggest challenges that face this discipline of healthcare facilities management?
I think one of the major thing happening, Peter, is as leaders, we talked about the physician shortage, clinical shortage, and we are going to see a exchange of the senior people exiting the healthcare and the younger people coming. So there's going to be a transition. We have to heavily depending on the outside vendors, mechanical, electrical contractors. They are also going through the same scenario.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a challenge, but like how we handle the COVID, we will handle it. It's going to be a little costly. Sometimes it's going to be a little challenge, and stress level will be a little higher on everybody. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. That's the life cycle. The work on the people who are at the age, they have to enjoy their life. They can't be staying with us forever. So that's going to happen, and we will go through that. The other thing is infrastructure. I think I don't want to talk about the politics, but I think we had a plan for the government is going to put out some money for the infrastructure, but I don't think it's going to happen soon. The infrastructure is aging, and that's everywhere, and everybody is looking at the cost. We need to have a balance between the cost and the patient care, and I think the patient care is priority, but we will overcome that with technology. And some of the newer machines, boilers, chillers coming nowadays are much more efficient, run better, less breakdowns. That should help, the labor shortage, because if we have a new equipment, new system, things are much smoother. I remember those days people work on the weekends, and more I see the weekends are pretty much nobody get called unless every now and then we have things.
Mm.
So we as a healthcare facility engineering, we are getting much better. I hope the trend
Yeah.
continuously goes up. And I'm proud of the way our people are handling our
Yeah.
systems and controls. And it's a matter of time that we figure this out, how to fund the infrastructure.
That's a good and hopeful message. I can see why you are elected president.
Oh, thank you.
No, but
I mean, you have to be optimistic. Put it this
Yeah.
way. We are here, sometimes, there are guys who come and complain and, they say this is down, that is down, this is down. And I kind of look at them and smile at them and say, hey, Sam, if nothing breaks, there's no reason for us to be here, right? Oh, I get the message, and he turned around and walk. I said, yeah. I mean, put it this way. I mean, I am, 1990, when I walked into the Lawrence Memorial Hospital, that's not the power plant I see now.
Yeah.
I mean, we are much more better. We are much more advanced.
Yep.
And we are on the right direction.
Absolutely. Anything, Skanda, that we did not cover, or anything you want to, as ASHE president, any final message to leave to the audience?
I think I wanted to give a message to all the healthcare facility engineers. They are not alone. We are here. ASHE is here to help them. And I wanted to say, there are many places to work in this world, and they chose to work in healthcare. And I wanted to say thank you, because it's a calling. I'm not talking about religious or anything like that, but it is a profession that will reward you. There was a boss one time, I did something good, and he came and put his hands on the shoulder and told me, I don't know, Skanda, I don't know how to pay you, but I know you have a place in heaven. I mean, whatever he said is engraved in my brain.
Yep.
And I think about in difficult situation, wait a minute, it's hard for me today, it's a long day, but I have a reason what I'm doing, why I'm doing. So I want to say thank you for all of you in healthcare, engineering. Believe in yourself, and don't hesitate to reach out to me or ASHE board members or anybody at any time, because I think, like Peter said, I'm on LinkedIn. I don't used to be watching that, but now being an ASHE president, I'll make sure that at least I'll check on that every at least 48 hours. So
Yeah. Add that to your list of to-dos, Skanda.
yes, yeah, because there are some people who doesn't have my email address or phone. At least they have a place they can reach out to me. Yeah, so
absolutely. Well, I want to thank my guest today, Skanda Skandaverl. Skanda is Division Director, CommonSpirit Health Midwest, Director of Facilities Management, Energy and Infrastructure. And on the side, he is also serving as the ASHE President for 2024. Skanda, we'll see you at the Innovation Conference. Got to get used to that
new name,
that new terminology. Is that difficult to change after? I mean, there was such great name recognition for the ASHE, everybody, ASHE Annual, now the Innovation Conference. Is that a name change difficult, or do you think it's due given where the discipline is going and where we're going as a field?
I think it was a little long discussion when we wanted to change the name, but it's the right thing to do, because we don't want to be we want to be a change.
Sure.
What is changing in the world. I think it's very early for me to give you all the details, but it's going to be different. I think the theme is to have more time for people to interact in between the sessions, because the earlier one is, we have sessions after sessions after session. Like you said, you see a guy going on the escalator up and down, you wave at him, and then I'll catch you later. I'll catch you later. And into the conference, the time is gone. You are catching your plane back home. But this time we are trying to give us some time in between so that we can socialize and get to know each other. And all about is networking.
Yeah.
ASHE is about networking. I have so many friends I made through ASHE conferences that I faithfully go every conference. So thank you, Peter, for your time, and thank you for inviting me. This is a
Skanda,
great opportunity and
my
great way to get the message out.
my pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, and we will see you on the road. We'll at least see you in Anaheim in July. It's July, right?
Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you.
I want to thank my guest, Skanda Skandaverl, and as always, thank you for tuning into the Healthcare Facilities Network. Have a great day.